Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's a little bit different. I'm sorry, I was planning to have this awesome build for you guys today, this massive mansion that I've been working on for a while now, probably one of my favorite builds ever, and a let's play to you this week, but unfortunately it was just one of those weeks where everything sort of fell to pieces in regards to making some content. I couldn't get my hands on a camera, and so I wasn't able to record an intro, so I figured that without a camera a let's play wasn't really going to be a good idea. And the house that I was building and planning to share, the mansion build, was just too big. My god, I just couldn't bear the thought of editing it. It's not even finished yet. It's 4 stories, it has heaps and heaps of rooms to furnish, so I decided that I would actually delve into the banks of some of the content I've made previously but I've never shared, and this is one of those houses. So I actually really love this house. I love the concept behind it. It's sort of this industrial sort of skill building haven, I suppose, and for gardening sims in particular, it's just a dream. It's got heaps of planter boxes and a beautiful sort of wraparound outdoor like garden situation and a little rooftop garden. So I do like it, but one of the issues with this build is that because it was one of the first ones I did months ago, my style of building is sort of a little bit different. It's a lot more unpolished and raw, but I kind of like that about this build. It shows you where I started when I wanted to make videos in the first place at the beginning of this year, and I had had a big break from The Sims at that point. I think it had been nearly 3 years at least since I'd touched the game, which is just wild. So I couldn't find things in the menu and I didn't really know too much of what I wanted to achieve, so editing this was really difficult. You'll notice that there's a lot of sort of jump cuts and all of these sort of crazy camera angles happening, which I normally cut out or avoid doing altogether because I'm a lot more conscious when I am building of the effect of moving the camera a lot. But anyway, you live and you learn, so that's all a learning experience I've taken into future builds that you've now seen. And anyway, I'm still happy with the house. I'm happy to share it, and I hope you guys really like it. It's got a bit of an industrial vibe, as I said, so lots of red brick and lots of black framed windows and doors, and it is 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and upstairs in that little floating box, sort of glass box thing, is the skill building sort of workshop, I suppose, so lots of fun stuff goes in there. It's got a really nice kitchen with a beautiful glass roof, so it gets lots of natural light, and it's in, I think we're building in Windenburg. Windenburg? Yeah, I think so. I love this town. It's beautiful. I love the surrounds, that you're on the beach. The beach is 2 seconds away from the doorstep of this property, and there's lots of running tracks and lots of stuff to be found if you want to be a bit of an explorer and go digging things up. So I really do like this town, and I think for gameplay this is a really nice house. It's not too big, it's not too flashy. You can sort of live out a whole variety of storylines here, especially because there is so many skill building items, which you'll see. But I had this idea to have like a grass roof. Initially I wanted to do a hobbit house, and then I thought, nah, maybe not, like everyone's done a hobbit house, and I want to, if I do a fantasy hobbit house, I want to do it like perfectly. So instead I decided to bring in just a bit of a grass roof element that you'll see me flesh out a bit when we go back upstairs. But for the moment I'm just filling out the inside walls and the kitchen here. So there is a laundry off the kitchen, and I had a bit of trouble with this color scheme in here. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so you'll see me mess around with a bunch of different colors and swatches until I'm happy. I wonder if you guys do the same. Do you have an idea before you start of the colors that you want to go with and what everything's going to look like, or do you just do it on the fly? I'm interested to know. Pop a comment below and let me know. I've actually been checking out a lot of your builds recently on the gallery and just getting a lot more involved in the community aspect of Sims and speed building on YouTube, and I've actually created a Discord, so if anybody ever wants to chat or, you know, drop me a line, let me know what they'd like to see directly, or just chat about life in general, you can find me on Discord. There's already a couple of us in there now. I'm having a lot of fun sort of connecting with you all. You're all so lovely. It makes me so happy to be able to talk The Sims and just life in general with you. So if you do want to join me on Discord, please check out the links in the description below so you can find a link to the channel. On top of that, there's also links to my Instagram where you can find a bunch of my artwork as well. I don't mention it all the time on here, but I am a visual artist and a graphic designer by day. So I suppose I'm a simmer by day as well, but they're sort of my side hustle, side fun, just part of my identity that's really important to me is that I'm a maker and a creator and an artist. So any way you want to connect, I'd love to connect with you all. And as I said, you can find the links in the description. But I've built out the kitchen now and it's finally into the color scheme that I want. I've gone for a bit of like a charcoal brown cupboard with a pop of color on the fridge and the stove. And the orange from those appliances have actually worked their way throughout the rest of the house. So orange is sort of the key color that I'm pulling a lot of the styling elements off. And you would have just seen me then pop in an MPS shelf, which is a shelf that allows you to freely place objects and clutter. There's another one there. It's an amazing piece of custom content, but I have deleted all of the uses of the MPS shelf from the game for the upload to the gallery, so it doesn't mess with anybody's system and you can actually freely download it. So if you do want to download it from the gallery, my what is my thing? It's Brownflowersims is my IG, so you can check that out. And I've actually got quite a few downloads now, like 1,500 or something crazy. The speed build that I did of a park, the Avaris, I think it's called Avaris Acres Park, that's been really popping off. Everyone seems to really like that, and I do have a lot more community lots in the pipeline ready to share with you. I think that that's what people enjoy the most, purely because not a lot of people build community lots and share it on The Sims and as speed builds and what have you. So I definitely think that that's a niche that I can explore and a gap that I can help fill. So let me know again if you have any recommendations for any community lots that you want to see as well. It's funny watching this be built now because it is months after the fact and I have just learnt so much since I created this build. It's not shabby by any means, but it's just really interesting to watch how my style has sort of evolved. And you know, I really didn't have any clue of what I was doing a few months ago with The Sims. I've always been a simmer. I've always had The Sims since I was a little girl, and my mum got me The Sims 1 and I loved it so much, and I've played it throughout the years, and especially when I was a teenager. I'm in my mid-20s now, which is a long time to be playing The Sims, but I just love it. And The Sims 4 is definitely the best game to build in terms of the quality of the graphics, and especially because custom content has just gone so crazy and it's just so phenomenal and great these days that I do really enjoy building in The Sims 4, but the gameplay aspect, for sure, The Sims 3 is where it's at. Everyone knows this, everyone sort of debates this. If you haven't played The Sims 3 before, maybe you're new to The Sims and you've only got The Sims to go off. If you're not really into building particularly, but you are into the gameplay aspect, get The Sims 3 or The Sims 2, but The Sims 3 is where it's at. But anyway, I kind of went on a tangent there, but what I was meaning to say is that I've seen how my style has evolved even just in the past few months. So if you are starting out new to The Sims, no matter if it's The Sims 2, 3, 4, then you really can experiment and play and learn very quickly with building. Building is like, it's not a difficult skill to learn, it's just time and practice. And once you know where things are in the menu, and once you see a lot of speed builds and you're watching people who are really good, and I'm by no means really good, like this is just a hobby and this is fun for me, and you know, I do occasionally create houses that I'm really proud of and I'm like, wow, you know, I wish that was in reality. But I'm by no means the Kate Emeralds of the world, who are just phenomenal speed builders who just, I don't understand how their brain works. Like I would dream to be as good as those type of YouTubers one day. But if you're ever someone that's new to The Sims, the point I'm trying to make is don't get discouraged. You can always learn. There's so much skills you can pick up on really quickly, and eventually you'll be making some pretty amazing content yourself if that's what you want to do, or just amazing builds for you to enjoy in the game yourself. I like to always make sure I have a storyline before I start building of what The Sims are going to be like that are living in the particular house that I'm building, and I find that is so much easier to build a house once you have an idea of the Sims that are going to live there. It always informs the skill building items that I put in, and the kids' bedrooms in particular. If I have an ambition for my kid or my child's Sim in the game, like I like to make sure that they've got everything they need to reflect their personality. And you know, if I want to have a dog in the house, like I've got everything built out for this house to have a dog, a family animal, family pet. And I think that that's a really, really good way to learn building as well, is that if you develop a storyline and you're starting out your build with people in mind, then I think that that really helps to inform your style choices, and it keeps you on track and keeps you focused. It's really easy to get, you know, to pick a style at the beginning and then it ends up being completely different at the end, which is totally fine. I think my style in particular is quite fluid like that. I am just a lot more blasé about my choices, which I think is my style. Like I like to mix and match different textures and colors, and I grew up in a house, I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I grew up in a house where we collected, or my dad collected, antiques, and my mum had a really modern sense of style, and so we had this really eclectic, mismatched sort of crazy vibe about our house, but I loved that about it. And you know, now that I live in an apartment and I'm older and my partner and I have our own furniture, we've got a mix and match of furniture as well. And so it's funny how that's just ended up in my game, and whenever I do speed builds, is that it's quite, you know, gobbledygook and it's all over the shop, but I do kind of really love that about it. But anyway, I'm just doing the kids' room now, and as I mentioned just then, I'm looking for sort of a style to go off, so I pick a bit of a space theme, I think, in this bedroom. It'll have to get up to the bits where I'm styling to really know, but it's a pretty small room. I haven't done a room this small in a long time. It's quite pokey, but I think that that's kind of nice. You have to be a bit more, you know, cautious or a bit more attentive to how you're placing furniture and how you're making decisions to best fit the space. She hasn't got too many toys in this room, this child Sim. She's sort of a genius Sim, and she's more interested in the computer and coding and gaming and all that sort of stuff. So I've highlighted the space for her for that. She's definitely got some room to play if she wants and what have you, but it's almost more of a teenager's room at this point. So when she does age up, she's not going to age out of it, which is good. So that was my sort of storyline with this room in particular. It is the room with the computer, so everybody ends up coming into this room. I've learned from playing in the gameplay in this household. I don't understand why they just don't fix that glitch in The Sims. I kind of think EA is having a bit of a troll and like laughing at us when we have all of these crazy, you know, townies that come over for the welcome wagon and they just end up on our computer all day. But anyway, this is the speed build, oh my god, look, I can't even speak. This is the skill building room at the top of the house. It goes out onto a big deck with a rooftop garden, and I've just got all the good stuff up here. So a nice, you know, painting area, little painting nook in the corner, and then I've got candle making, woodworking and flower arranging as well, all across the back wall, with a couple of desks in the middle for the computers. And yes, while the computers are up here, people still go into the little girl's bedroom to use her laptop. It's so weird. I don't know why, but they're a pan. Maybe they don't want to go up the stairs. I don't like walking upstairs myself sometimes, so I can get that. But anyway, and I actually really like up here. I'd love a studio like this in my house in reality. It would just be such a joy and such a treat. I probably wouldn't use any of those three skill building items. Like, I don't know how to woodwork, that's for sure. I'd love to learn though. I think carpentry is like the coolest thing ever. And if I could be I think when I was younger I wanted to be a lady carpenter and a builder, and I wish I hadn't have given up on that dream. It's such a cool skill. Tradies are just, we call them tradies in Australia, but tradesmen who are carpenters and builders and plumbers and all those sorts of trades are just have the coolest career. Like, I get so jealous. They get to use their hands every day, and it's just another iteration of being a maker, really. So anyway, I digress, but we're we're out on the rooftop terracey type garden place, and I've got heaps of garden beds, and I don't actually capture it on camera, but at the end of the build I put heaps more garden beds all out the front of the property as well. So this is like a dream come true for a garden sim, which is really nice. And this is where you'll start to see in this outdoor section just how far I've come in terms of my skill level with building, because I, at this stage, didn't know about the debug menu. I didn't know about the fact that I could place, like landscaping elements, plants, trees, shrubs, flowers, etc., like into the landscape. And I now know how to do that, and landscaping has since become one of probably my best skills and my most enjoyable aspects of the game and in building. So it's a bit of a shame for me to look back and see so many things I would fix if I had my time over with this build. But again, I think it's kind of nice to show you guys, a bit of a different type of build, a bit of a, flashback. It was only, January that I built this, I think, but can you believe we're already into April? Anyway, so yes, it's a little bit of holes and a little bit of things that I'd fix, but I still think it's really cute, that little garden path around the back that you can follow. Instead of going through the house, you can go around the back. Maybe you've got muddy boots from working in the garden all day, who knows. It's a cute little lookout as well. I love where this lot's located. There's the beach on one side and surrounding forest. It's beautiful. So there's lots of great views, so many different angles from this property. So this garden, the garden is up on the roof and it really best captures that view, which is quite nice. And otherwise, I'm just sort of encasing it with lots of landscaping now. And I will show you the roof shortly. I did it twice, and when I did it first on camera, I just wasn't happy with how it looked, and so I went back and did it again with a different look, but we'll get to that in a second. But what I'm doing now is just placing a bunch of ivy and all sorts of other stuff just to green up the property a little bit. And so now we're going to be doing that grass on the roof. It's sort of a nod to the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, which is my favorite sort of genre, of course. Fantasy is just my life. I love fantasy. But anyway, so that's what the roof is. I've got a bit of my fantasy roof happening. Got some bikes around the side. I'm going to pop in some gnomes and a little letterbox, and otherwise we're pretty much done, guys. So I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see next week. Join me on Discord, please, if you want to come and have a chat. Like, I'd love to get to know some of you a bit better, especially those beautiful people that are commenting every week. I'll see you guys next week. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.